Hello YouTube, this is Omagent here and welcome back to another episode of Zombie Analysis. In this video I'll be discussing Ludvig Maxis, his storyline if you follow his path rather than Richtofin's, his endgame and how this affects future maps and storyline. Now as opposed to Richtovin, Maxis had three goals that drive him. The first, which is closest to his heart, is to be with his daughter Samantha once again. The second is to regain a physical body, and the last is to prevent Richtovin from achieving his dream and remove him as a threat to his own plans. Now after the events of Moon, Maxis was in a dire position. Although he had decimated Earth to prevent Richtofin's New World Order, his beloved daughter and her new friends had fled Griffin Station with the use of a teleporter, leaving them stranded in another time, far from Maxis' reach. However, he had a plan, to reverse what had happened and reach his daughter again. The rockets he had fired from Griffin Station, aside from decimating civilization, had destabilized Argatha, resulting in a substantial release of Orgon energy. If this force could be manipulated, not only could he oust Edward from control of the undead hordes, but he could open a stable gateway to the ether, travel through safely, and reach Samantha. Also near the detonation spot, there were distorted pieces of space-time, which Maxis could create a paradox and reverse the events from existence. So Maxis called out to any remaining survivors in range of electronical devices he could access across the world and instructed them to erect towers across the planet which could form a network to achieve his endgame. One such group was the Green Run Quartet, who activated 2 towers in Washington State and China before travelling to Africa. Under Maxis' instructions, they descended down into Buried, travelling back in time to before the shattering of the Earth, where they gathered the materials to activate the final tower, allowing Maxis to gain his revenge. Firstly, he fired the rockets at Earth, triggering a chain reaction of Argatha's energy, which was harnessed by the network of towers in place, allowing Maxis to reach through time and space to reach Samantha. He then returned Richtovin and Samantha to their respective bodies, and giving Samantha control of the undead horde once again. Now another factor in zombies that Maxis seems particularly interested in is the Avogadro, which was key to the activation of the Green Run Tower from Maxis' side. Maxis insisted that only the Avogadro was used to power the tower, not any other conventional sources. While this may seem perfectly innocent, the Avogadro appears once again in Buried as the wisp that is used in the Easter egg. The wisp is identical in appearance to the Avogadro, so why is Maxis interested in not only one but 2 Avogadros, as he used the time bomb to effectively clone them? Perhaps the Avogadro was key to Maxis' endgame, beyond the simple activation of the towers. Creating 2 Avogadros gives you 2 power sources, but what does Maxis want to power? Well, first and foremost, he wants to keep Griffin Station up and running so he can inhabit its computers and be with Samantha forever. The second machine that he would want to power most likely resides on the other side of the ether, a machine large enough to require a special kind of power source to keep it running, keep it mobile. And perhaps this machine is the body that Maxis has been striving for all these years. Now Maxis is caught between 2 conflicting objectives: to be with Samantha in a Griffin Station eternity powered by 1 Avogadro, and travelling back through the ether to confront Richtovin one last time to stop him from interfering with his plans. But thanks to Maxis' unique condition, he can do this. He can split himself into 2 copies of himself, one that stays with Samantha and one that confronts Richtovin. And so with Maxis' endgame we are given 2 worlds. One world in which the earth is shattered, but there is no guiding light, no helpful voice, just silence. And as the last remnants of humanity are torn apart by the undead hordes, and Earth becomes a barren rock, Ludvig and Samantha are together in Griffin Station for eternity, one preserved in the MPD, one preserved in the computers that reside there. The second world contains Richtovin, Dempsey, Belensky and Misaki, reunited to face off against Maxis and whatever infernal machine he now inhabits, powered by the second Avogadro. Now this ending, unlike Richtofin's, gives us some scope for the future of a storyline and future maps, with this second world setting the stage for the grand finale. When and where the final map is, though, is impossible to say. Obviously it must take place before the 1940s because Richtofin's survival would warrant him as a threat to Maxis, justifying his attempts to crush him once and for all. But this gives us a wide range of locations and times. It could be set during the Battle of Hastings, the trenches of World War I, or during the Cards of the Light Brigade, any time and place in history really. But the last map will feature the original 4 back again to face off against Maxis' giant evil robot, the finale to Black Ops 2 Zombies. So if you liked my little theory, this has been Omagent. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.